Now that Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has announced that schools would partially reopen for certain learners, it's important for those who are still at home to continue with their studies. But with online access being a challenge for many, how do we ensure that they are not left behind? Now, the Ithute and the Daniel Mathibedi Foundation are a non-profit organizations that seek to introduce e-learning technology to township schools. And to find out more about what their interventions are, we're joined by Daniel Mathibedi. Sir, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Hi, how's it, great? How are you doing?
I am better than I deserve. Tell me, just give us the name. Did I pronounce it right? Is this Ithute?
Yes, that's Ithute, SA Land.
All right. So talk to us about, your recovery plan to salvage the 2020 academic year.
All right. Thanks for having us, and then greetings to all the viewers at home. We're currently faced by a very big crisis in the country, okay? In terms of this COVID-19, it has led to a huge disruption of school education. So what we have done as Ithute, in collaboration with Gauteng Department of Education and the DM Foundation, we have embarked on a solid plan in terms of how can we get the curriculum delivery, at homes for those people, for those children that they don't have access, to curriculum content. So the major objective of this initiative that we have kickstarted is that we want to save lives, okay? And then we also want to prioritize delivering curriculum content to everyone at homes. So this is what we have done. We have constructed an initiative called the COVID-19 Digital Learning for eSchools. So the aim of the initiative is that we're trying to fundraise resources to jumpstart digital education for virtual learning environment. Okay, because we thought about it, in terms of that learner at home that has no access to a tablet, that learner that has no access to Wi-Fi and my broadband, that teacher that has no access to to a laptop. So we have a mechanism in place and a system in place that we have identified that it can get the country largely at wide connected anytime, anywhere, wherever they are, regardless of the location. So
how do you plan to do this?
We're calling upon the nation. Come again?
How do you plan to do this?
All right. This is how we're planning to do. We've got a plan in place. This is what we're going to do is that we will be working collaborative with the Gauteng Department of Education, okay, as part of our rollout plan. And then in terms of resources that we need to raise to get this campaign going is that we have done something on the DM Foundation is that we have constructed a website with the short code of the fundraising campaign where the nation, they can SMS, to 38021 to get these resources rolling out. So what we want to do is that we will be embarking on a rollout plan in this sense that we want to identify certain districts,
right,
where we've got the unprivileged learners. We also want to identify certain provinces, where connectivity is an issue, where they lacking devices, and then we will be collaborating with the departments on various locations in terms of the rollout plan.
How quick can this be done? Because, these are pressing issues. We need it now. We need it yesterday, so to speak. The urgency is apparent, isn't it? How quick can we do this?
It is true. So, look, I think with what is happening is that we cannot, that's why we're calling upon for, an extensive support from South Africa, that we cannot sit around and then to say we're waiting for the 1st of June, it's all system go. So we want to get the public on board ASAP. To say let them start to contribute towards this campaign. To fundraise resources. In terms of the tech hardware that we need, in terms of the solution that we need to procure. So as soon as we get the relevant monetary support and other resources from CSI, from the public in general, from business, we're willing to kickstart this initiative by mid-June. As soon as by mid-June, we're willing to go live.
And how much is this going to cost?
Look, in terms of costing, it's determined by the number of learners that we're going to get on the system. Look, so it's quite an extensive amount of revenue that we're looking to invest into it to get the virtual learning in all of the learners. So it's determined by the numbers of the learners that we're getting off the system, but it can accommodate approximately plus minus. Look, 13 million. We are able to accommodate those kind of learners.
So tell us about Daniel. Tell us about the research that you've done in order to find out how many children or learners don't have access to technological gadgets, don't have access or proper connectivity. What's the numbers?
So with regard to the R&D, the research and development, is that we're working very closely with the districts in Gauteng. Ithute and the Daniel Mathibedi Foundation have been collaborating with Gauteng Department of Education and Basic Education for the past 5 years in the sector. So the numbers that we have in terms of, we liaise directly with the district official and the district directors, that they are the ones on the forefront to give us information to say, look, digital education at this phase, we've got ABCD impact in place. At this phase, we don't have this kind of resources. So that's the level of the know-how of how we're getting equipped with information. We're working very closely with the districts in various locations.
We heard Minister Blade Nzimande talking about these critical interventions that need to be put in place for higher learning, and talking about this multimodal remote teaching and learning systems. And you were saying that they're working on securing a deal with major mobile network operators around data and connectivity. I guess that's a good step in the right direction in order to get South Africa connected.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it is. But we have identified a system that can work, offline, can also work online because of Wi-Fi and my broadband. At certain locations, it's an issue. It's a big crisis for virtual learning. So we had to develop mechanisms and solutions on what it can be done to access that learner that has a strong signal to connect to access curriculum content.
Right.
So what we aiming to do is that part of the implementation strategy is that we want to collaborate with institutions like Terraco to get the links and the signals in various locations.
Right.
So and then we also calling for support, like from mobile companies, the likes of Telkom, Vodacom, MTN, to come on board, to collaborate with us, from the perspective of CSI, to get this VLE, to remote learning, to remote areas as well.
So what would you say to a parent who is sitting at home now watching this and saying, look, I need to get involved, I need to access this technology? What can they do at this time?
Look, at the moment, the country where it's sitting is that we're lacking quite a number of resources to kickstart virtual learning environment.
Yeah.
And then for anyone who has no access to devices, who has no access to, any technology around themselves to, to get content in terms of virtual learning. What they can do is that DBE, they've got a system in place. They've got a program that they've done with the department with SABC education, in terms of they call it a multi-learner. So you are able to leverage certain content from there, until we get the relevant resources in place. And then also taking in mind, what we're saying to South Africa, that we need to prepare schools, for a new operation, because of what COVID-19 has done. It has given us a wake-up call, in a sense that we've been talking about the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
I think it came earlier more than we thought. So any parent, any student that they're trying to access content, but they are unable to study due to lack of resources, we're saying to them, collaborate with us. Let us build a South Africa worth living in. Let us build a better learning experience. We're running this as a donation campaign to say as little as $10 in terms of contribution. That can help a learner to access that tablet. That can help a teacher to access that tablet. For us to install that Wi-Fi and my broadband wherever they are. And we're planning to say this is not an initiative for Gauteng. We're planning to blast this, as a national thing, because of this is whatever that we're facing now. It's a national crisis. It's a national disaster. So what we're saying to the country, we're calling for support to say collaborate with the DM Foundation, collaborate with SA Ithute. Let us see how best we can get our learners, to access curriculum content. Location is not an issue.
Daniel, we are in the state of disaster, and it requires thinking outside of the box, innovative thinking, and we thank you very much indeed for coming onto the program and giving your take on what needs to be done in order to get our children, our learners, learning during this time. Daniel, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.